Hey everybody, this is Heidi for allfreeknitting.com, and today I'm going to show you guys how to sew a mattress stitch, which can be used to join two panels of knitting together seamlessly. This is what the finished mattress stitch looks like, and as you can see, it's two separate pieces, but they're invisibly joined. So this is really great for joining panels of sweaters, and you can even use it to creatively do some color work if you're new to knitting and a little bit afraid of switching colors as you knit. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do the mattress stitch. So while it is a technique used in knitting, it doesn't actually involve knitting on needles. What you need are two pieces of knitting that are going to be joined, a tapestry needle like this, and then some yarn. Generally, you would use the same, in this case, pink color that your sections being joined were knit in, but I'm going to use this bright green contrast color so you guys can more easily see what I'm doing. This bit of knitting up here, I have already joined using the mattress stitch. So these are knit with the exact same amount of stitches, but right here, if I pull, you can see those green threads. That's what the mattress stitch looks like when it's finished. So these pieces of knitting are almost seamlessly joined, even though they literally are seamed. It has a seamless appearance, so you can join two pieces of knitting successfully. This is what the back looks like. And this mattress stitch is a really common joining technique, and you'll often use it to join sweater panels, for instance. So let's get started. I've got my two panels here on the table in front of me with right sides facing me. You want the side of your knitting that will be facing outward facing you when you go to do the mattress stitch. Thread your tapestry needle with your yarn and locate the very first stitch of your knitting. So when I knit these squares, used garter stitch so it wouldn't roll up. So looking at this, the very first opening at the bottom of this swatch is down here. And I am going to start here for demonstration's sake, but normally this would be a stockinette edge without the garter ridging down here. So let's take a look at our knitting. When you pull apart stockinette, it turns into these big ladders. That's usually the term you hear is ladders. And in between each column of stitches, you see these little bars. So this is a column of stitches, there's a bar. This is a column of stitches, there's a bar. There's a bar running between each column of each stitch. Now, what we're going to do when we do mattress stitch is pick up those bars all the way up in parallel on each panel of knitting. So first, we have located that first opening in our knitting, and we're drawing our sewing yarn back to front, leaving a little tail to weave in later. Then, you'll locate that same first opening on your other panel. Again, knitting back to front. And right here you can see why you would want to be working in pink instead of neon green. So once you've got that setup situation under control, you will look at this edge of the left panel of your knitting, and you can kind of pull it apart, and right there, I'll pick it up with the needle so you can see. That bar between your columns of knitting is what you're going to sew your yarn through with the tapestry needle and pull it. I'm not going to tighten it just so you can see what I'm doing, but normally every about inch or so you would want to tighten your work. Now we're going to find the corresponding bar on the other panel of our work, which is right here. And again, tapestry needle under that to catch it and pull the tail through. So that first set of stitches looks like this, with the yarn coming straight across. I'll show you that one more time. Now we'll look where the yarn went around the previous bar. We'll look right above that to find the next bar and draw the yarn under it with our tapestry needle. Same thing on the other side. See where that sewing yarn wraps around that bar. Look for the next bar just north of that and sew the yarn through. And then, since we've worked about an inch, I'm going to pull on each end to tighten our work. And you can see that it just zips up almost like a zipper on a garment, and it's already relatively invisible. Now, a couple things to keep in mind when you're doing the mattress stitch. I'm using a very bulky yarn. This is knit on size 11 US needles. If you're working with a lace weight or fingering weight yarn, you might want to go through and grab 2 bars at once just to save your sanity a little bit. So that would be pretending we were on a fingering weight yarn. Instead of grabbing this next bar, you would grab both of these 2 bars. 1, 2, and sew through both of them together. And that's really just a sanity saving measure, but with these bulkier yarns, you really need to make sure to catch each of those bars as you sew, and then draw it tight every inch or so, finishing that mattress stitch. Now again, this is what a fully joined swatch looks like on the right side. If we pull it, you can see those green stitches holding it together. And then if we look at the wrong side, you can see this little ridge formed in your work. This ridge, the best way to keep it tiny is to make sure you're working in the first opening next to the side of your swatch. So the closer to the edge you can get, the neater and more uniform and smaller your mattress stitch seam will be. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for how to work the mattress stitch. Don't forget to give us a like if you found it useful, and subscribe for more knitting video tutorials.